With your smart key on a Nissan Patrol, you have your simple lock, unlock, and the I've lost my car in the car park button. When you push lock on the key, the horn will beep at you. If that is a feature that you don't want on, if you hold the lock and unlock button at the exact same time, you'll see your headlights flash. Now every time you lock it, the horn doesn't beep. To re-engage it, do the same thing again. On your door, you have your simple lock or unlock button. Now these are set up to have selective unlock, which means if you push it once, we'll unlock one door, the rest of the car stay locked. You push it twice, we'll unlock all the doors. So if you push the settings button underneath the radio, you'll then have vehicle settings up the top here, selective unlock, just here, turn that off, and now every time you unlock the car, it'll unlock all the doors with one push. The other thing with your key is if you push unlock on the key and hold that button down, all your windows will go down. So on a hot day, it just allows that air to escape. To put the windows back up, the car needs to be started and you've got to pull the levers on the door handle to put them up. With your key, if you leave your key in the car and you try and lock the car, that beeping noise lets you know your keys are still stuck in the car. However, if you do have one key left in the car and one key on the outside, the car will know that there is a key on the outside and will still allow you to lock that second key inside. So if it's in a handbag or a backpack or anything like that, you'll be able to lock one key in the car as long as the other key is on the outside.
You have two buttons underneath the boot. You've got the big one that is the boot open and shut button, and then the little one is the lock or unlock button. So you can relock the car when you push that button there.
Now the back seat operation is simple as pulling the little lever up here and then allowing those seats to fold right over. To put the seats up, it is far better if you do it from the back seats to allow you to actually lift those seats up. Now with the third row center seat, the actual seat belt itself is tucked up in the roof. It's broken up into two pieces. You've got the 3-point lap sash anchor point, which will go onto the left hand side, and then that will follow over to the right hand side to allow a 3-point lap sash. Now your spare wheel, jack and tools are hidden underneath this little panel here. So jack, toolkit, inside your toolkit is a little rod mechanism that you use to slide through a little tunnel through here that will link up to a crane system that then drops the wheel down from underneath the car. So you pop that in there, you wind it, the wheel will drop down from underneath it and allow nice and easy to swap the wheel over and get yourself out of trouble. So with these back seats, lever up the top here will allow you to fold the seat over, reach behind you, and then lift those seats up. The headrests themselves will then also lift up as well. These back seats are also reclinable. You'll have a lever up here. You also have one on the side of the seat there. So if you lift that up, fold the seat over for you. Now, when it comes to child seat anchor points, the anchor points for these have ISOFIX mounted underneath the leather there. They are both driver and passenger side. The actual anchor point for the rear anchor is mounted into the back of the seat there. Points on the other side are located just to the right underneath this little cloth flap, and then just there as well. If you're putting a child seat in the rear, you also have the third anchor point mounted right there. All your windows are all automatic, so when you flick the little lever up here, all your windows will go up automatically. You have the lock or unlock up here. You also have the electric fold-in feature for your mirrors, so if you need to close your mirrors in. The other thing is left and right will switch from left mirror to right mirror, and then up, down, left, right to adjust the angle of where the mirror sits. If you make your adjustments on your driver's seat, you have your backrest, the adjuster for forward, backwards and height. You also have electronic lumbar support here. And to adjust your steering wheel, it's just a simple matter of pulling that lever down there, and that will allow you to slide it forward or backwards. The other lever that's underneath here will allow you to tilt your steering wheel to get it into a comfortable position. Underneath here is the audible switch for the car's lane departure warning and blind spot warning beepers. So if you turn this off, what will happen is those audible warnings will come off. Push button start. So as long as you have your foot on the brake, you will be able to start the car. If your foot is not on the brake and you push it once, it'll come up with accessories, so that'll allow you to listen to the radio. It'll come up with all of them to be able to put the windows down in the event that your key ever dies. The smart key itself, as long as you hold this up to the start button and you push the start button, you will be able to start the car in the event that the key ever dies. Now on your steering wheel, you have your cruise control on the right hand side, which is just a matter of simply turning it on, getting to your set speed and then tapping set, and that will save you at whatever speed you're traveling at. You can increase or decrease your speed just by simply tapping the up and down switches on the right hand side. You then have the distance control settings, and so this will measure the distance between you and the car in front and will adjust the distance that it keeps between you and the car that's in front of you. 3 bars on average is roughly around 60 meters between you and the car in front. 2 bars is 40 meters and 1 bar is 20 meters when you're roughly traveling at about 100 k's. The other button that's down here turns on the little halo that goes around the car, which is the intervention side of things with your lane departure warning and your blind spot warning. So if you are crossing over the white lines and this is on, the car will then lightly tug you back in to make sure that you stay in your lane. On the other side, you've got your source, which just goes through your AM, your FM, your CD, your auxiliary and Bluetooth audio. The up and down button here will navigate through all the content directly in front of you. The ability to turn off that little warning that comes up that says do not use while driving. By you pushing that enter button, that will clear that warning. Volume controls underneath that, and then your Bluetooth. Now when it comes to setting up your Bluetooth, it's just a simple matter of pushing the phone button down the bottom there. It'll come up saying no Bluetooth device found. You can then push the enter button on your steering wheel to add new phone. The car will then start the pairing procedure. So then on your phone, go to the Bluetooth settings on your phone, search for your device, my car down the bottom there. Comes up asking for a pin. The pin will display on your phone. Push pair. It'll then come up asking for access to your contacts and your call list. And then it's connected. You also have the voice activation feature with your Bluetooth. So when you engage that, you can then tell the car what you want it to do. You can ultimately take control by pushing it again and then telling the car exactly what you want it to do, like call home, and the car will do it all automatically for you. When it comes to the radio, it's just a simple matter of clearing the do not use while driving button. It'll then come up with the car's GPS as an automatic default. What you have on your radio, underneath your radio, is your camera button, which will then bring up the 4 cameras. You can then switch your left-hand camera to focus solely on the left-hand side. You can bring up full screen and you can turn it off. Now when the car is in reverse, that will also come up with the same options. Switch to the left-hand screen, switch to full screen. You also have a system called moving object detection, which will flash in the desired area as there is something that the car is picking up moving around the car. So this could simply be someone walking past the car, this could be an animal, this could be anything that will just obviously let the car beep and warn you that there is something there. You then have your audio button. So underneath here, this will come up with your default previous setting. Push it once more, it'll then come up with all your different settings that you can obviously tune in and listen to, from AM, FM, CD, Bluetooth audio, iPod, that kind of stuff. When it comes to inputting your destination into the GPS, it's a simple matter of going to address, typing in the suburb to begin with. The car will use predictive spell to figure out the remaining letters in the suburb that you're searching for. Gully. Then 1,000. It'll show you where the destination is on the map, and then it's just a simple matter of you just pushing start. Now with the GPS also has points of interest. And so a handy thing with points of interest is it'll bring up travel, accommodation, car parks, bits and pieces like that. But it'll also bring up Nissan dealers. So you'll be able to see as to which Nissan dealer is the closest to your current location. You can bring up the information, and you can even go as far as calling the dealership. The car has an info tag. So in info, this will tell you your fuel efficiency, tyre pressure when your next service is due, fuel efficiency, real-time traffic information, and obviously off-road information, which is tyre pressures as you are obviously traveling off-road. When it comes to the climate control is adjusted simply by turning the dial closest to you here. So you can adjust the temperature, you can adjust the fan speed, you can even adjust the passenger temperature. The key thing with this is, if you engage auto, the car will then do everything it possibly can to get to that temperature as quick as feasibly possible. You also have this upper vent, which then turns on a vent mounted into the top of the speaker up there, and will direct airflow right over the top of the windscreen, obviously help circulate air around the car. When it comes to setting up the rear climate control, the rear climate can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. To cover off first of all how to set the temperature, if you push rear climate here, you then want to turn the system on, you then increase or decrease your set temperature, increase the airflow, the system will then obviously do it all itself. The other thing is normally when you set this temperature, it's mainly because it's either too hot and you want to have the air conditioning do its thing. If you simply set this temperature to 20 degrees and then push this button on or off, every time you go and start the climate control, it'll automatically default to 20 degrees. And the car will then do everything automatically without you having to go through all these different menu options. So the car has a apps button. So in here, this will give you a couple of preloaded apps that Nissan put in, which just give you a little bit of an overview about what the car is doing, compass, driving performance, bits and pieces like that. Status is the default screen that mixes the two, both radio and climate control, onto the one page. Because normally if you have climate control on, it's full screen climate. If you have audio on, it's full screen audio. Status puts a blend of those two together, so not only can you see what you're listening to, but you also see what the climate control is doing. You can then push it again and it'll come up with fuel efficiency and obviously the compass to let you know where you go. Now what you have underneath here is all the radio controls. So first of all, skip and next, that will allow you to change the tracks on the CD or fast track to the next radio station. Mix repeat just cycles up the CD to obviously repeat the same song or just shuffle them around. TA stands for traffic announcements. So TA will then, if there is an incident, breakdown, roadworks, anything like that, and the local authorities are notified, they can put a audible warning out over the radio system to let you know that there's an incident coming up. Media is just your Bluetooth audio, your USB, and what goes on with the rear display. Radio is your radio, and clearly CD is your disc. Tucked up the front, you've also got two USB ports as well. When it comes to your four-wheel drive switch, the handy thing with this is even though you leave it in auto, you can change the style of terrain that you're on. You can switch it from on-road, rock, snow, and sand. The car will then adjust its performance to accommodate better traction and better stability in those kinds of terrain. If you wanted to put it into 4 high, this can be done on the fly. So you can be traveling anywhere between 0 and 100 k's. You flick that over to 4 high. The front wheels will then obviously engage and then give you 50-50 distribution of power, front and rear. To put it into 4 low though, car has got to be in neutral and be stationary. You flick it over into 4 low. What will happen then is the car's transfer case will lock into place and allow the car to be permanently locked into full-time 4 low. What will happen in that instance is it will turn off the crash avoidance, it'll disengage your car's vehicle stability control to allow you to have full control over the vehicle when you are off-roading without having any limitations. Your rear diff lock can be engaged by just simply pushing the switch there. Once the system is engaged and you put the car into drive, that diff lock will pop back into play and you will have a full-time locked-in LSD. The button here turns off the car's vehicle stability control system, and then on the opposite side is the car's downhill assist. When downhill assist is engaged and you are in 4 low, what will happen is as you start to roll down a hill, and this can be as steep as it needs to be, as the car starts to roll, the car will then apply the brakes and release the brakes to maintain a speed of 5 kilometers an hour, while all you do is worry about steering. So that operates in 4 low. One of my personal favorites is the sun visor, because you have a simple little slider in there for when the sun sneaks into that cheeky little spot there. Petrol cap release is just a simple matter of just pushing it. Now if the car is locked, that won't operate. Obviously, premium unleaded or 95 at a minimum is recommended for this to keep its peak performance. The roadside assist phone number is located in the top left hand corner of your windscreen. You also have it in your owner's manual. It's a 1-800-035-035. So in the event that you ever need to get the roadside assist out to get you out of a pickle, just ring that phone number there and they'll get you out of trouble. Another thing with your roadside assist is that it is down to the driver's discretion of the tow truck driver to pick up whatever you're towing. So if you've got a caravan on the back, it is recommended to obviously just have some caravan roadside assistance in the event that you ever need it. Underneath the dash you'll find the bonnet release, and then just slightly to the right of the Nissan badge is the lever to open the bonnet. Now, underneath the bonnet on this, things that you'll need to obviously pay attention to is your washer fluid, tucked up the top there. Other bits and pieces that our service department look after is things like your brake fluid, power steering fluid, coolant reservoir, engine oil dipstick tucked down the side there, airbox, fuse panel 1. Underneath there is the fuse box. Now with your foot brake on the left hand side, that just requires a simple matter of just pushing it on 5 or 6 clicks, and that in itself will keep the car locked into place. The car has a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty. So you've got cap price servicing that runs for 6 years or 120,000 kilometres. These get serviced once a year or every 10,000 Ks. Once you have your VIN number, you can then type that VIN number into the Nissan's owners tab, and you'll be able to see how much your service costs are going to be for the next 6 years or 120,000 Ks.